Very good evening to you. Thank you for joining us. Welcome to Sports Tonight. This is the Tuesday night edition of the show. As always, promises to be exciting, fun-filled, and very informative. My name is Toyin Ibitoye. I'd like to start by introducing my panel, the starting 11 on the show tonight, and also tell you that it's a very loaded show because we have an impressive lineup, as we had yesterday, of guests who will be coming in to take a look at different aspects of what we've lined up for you on Sports Tonight this Tuesday. But starting off the show with me tonight, Tunde Koiki is back after a tour around the world. It's good to have Tunde Koiki back with us on Sports Tonight. The world may be small, the world may be your street, the world may be your state, but the world is you know.
Okay, thank you for clearing that up.
Because I knew you were going to react and say, look, you've not gone around the world, but the world is the world.
Okay.
It doesn't really need.
I'll leave it that way.
Yeah. Of course, Cosmos Chukwuemeka is also with us on Sports Tonight. Cosmos, good to have you as well.
Well, it's good to be back, and yeah, I have to say these Upgunners.
I knew I was going to say it, but it's okay. Moving on. It's okay.
Upgunners, yes.
I mean,
moving on very quickly.
Yeah, we can't.
Of course.
We can't begrudge you.
No.
We can only congratulate you.
Yes, so it's not congratulating.
And be happy for you.
Of course.
And hope that this doesn't take another 10 years.
Mbam.
To have something to celebrate.
It won't happen. The jeans has been broken.
The jeans has been broken?
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right. We'll talk more about that as we go on Sports Tonight. Tonight, we will, of course, talk about the build-up to the World Cup. What's the story coming out of Brazil? How our teams getting ready? That will feature, of course, very prominently on the program tonight. We will also talk about that big project that Channels is putting together. Channels National Kids Cup Season 6. It's getting closer and closer, and now we can feel it. We can touch it. We'll talk about it. Also, Nokonapan will be joining me later on to take a look at what happened today. We had the unveiling today, and we had the announcement of the schools that will be taking part. We will talk about all of that later on as we go on Sports Tonight. We will also spend time to talk badminton on the program tonight. We have the chairman of the Lagos State Badminton Association, Frank Obi, with us on Sports Tonight. We will talk about badminton, and of course we will also reflect on the Dawn Games that is currently going on in Lagos. Dunodio Konta will have a share of the stage because tomorrow there are games in the Globe Premier League. Believe it or not, this season has been very exciting. We've had games that have been thrillers. We've had 6-goal thrillers, 7-goal thrillers. We have plenty of goals this season. Dunodio will be here to preview the matches tomorrow in the Globe Premier League, and of course to talk to us about those who are finding the back of the net for their clubs as we also go on the show. It's a Tuesday, remember, and that also reminds us that we make champions on Tuesdays. Bambo Akoni will be here, and they will be talking about making of champions. What's the story? What does he have for us tonight? It's something about relays, and of course Bambo will also reflect on blessed blessing. Wow. Tunde, I mean, what can you say very quickly? Blessing. Okagbare.
All I can say is that
what an athlete. The commentator was saying, what an athlete.
You know, what my only problem is this: when a country of almost 200 million people has to rely on the frail shoulders of one individual, one woman.
But our shoulders are not looking frail, Sunday. Did you see those shoulders?
I know, but the pressure is too much. When Nigeria goes into an international competition, and the only realistic possibility of getting a medal, rests on Blessing Okagbare. That tells you that we're in deep trouble, and that is why we need people like Bambo Akoni and what they're trying to do with making of champions, about how we can, Bambo has said some particularly interesting things. Just an investment of 100 million naira annually, and we can have champions in this country.
Bambo will come on the show.
I think he can say it much better.
We'll say it much better.
But congratulations to Blessing Okagbare. She's a leading light, a beacon for every other person who's aspiring to do big things for Nigeria.
All right, so we'll talk about Blessing later on the show. Bambo will be in, and we'll be talking about how we can make more blessings for Nigeria. Let's start the show by telling you that you can be a part of what we're doing. We want you to be interactive with us, and that's showing on your screen on Facebook, on Twitter. Tell us what you feel. As we count down to the World Cup, we need your opinion. We need you to interact with us. Talk to us. Give your opinion to issues as we raise them on the program tonight. Of course, on Facebook and on Twitter. And of course, just tell us what you feel, and we will reflect on all of that going forward. But gentlemen, without wasting any more time, Tunde, you are waiting for D-Day.
I'm not concerned.
Yeah, but we are building up to D-Day.
23
23 days to go. Cosmos Chukwuemeka really knocking on the door. 23 days
to
and
go.
a few minutes to go to the World Cup.
Yeah, that's like a month. 3
A
weeks.
month?
3 weeks.
No, 3 weeks.
3 weeks
Exactly.
and 2 days.
Much-
Much
days.
less than a month.
Exactly.
weeks and 2 days.
The World Cup is here, it's coming pretty much fast, and then the excitement is everywhere. I'm excited, I know today is excited, and everybody here is excited, so definitely we want to see the World Cup, and teams are bringing out their 23-man list.
It has even gone beyond that. Tunde,
Yeah.
teams are now beginning their World Cup camps.
Yeah.
Ghana
Yes.
opened the camp today with about 14 players. The Italians have also opened camp. The Dutch have also opened camp.
Iran have already opened camp
A
as
long time ago. In fact, they've gone on the plane tour
of Southern
of
Africa.
South Africa, of Austria, and everywhere. Countries are beginning to open training camps, and now you now have a feel that look, it's close by.
World Cup.
Well, no, there was never any doubt about the fact that we are going to have a World Cup. What kind of World Cup is now the question, because of the problems that are going on in Brazil, protests, infrastructure problems as well. But even the people of Brazil, despite all those protests, the Brazil is beginning to come to life. It is a bit underground right now at the moment, because in Brazil they tend to paint the streets yellow and green in the colors of the Brazilian color, in the colors of the Brazilian flag. They make some interesting changes to the society whenever there is a World Cup, even whether it is held in Brazil or not. These countries that have already announced their training camps, there are no surprises there. I spoke to George Latte of the Ghanaian Broadcasting Commission. He said that this training camp was already planned a long time ago. They'll be playing in the
They want to take
Netherlands.
advantage of the time
Exactly.
that the season is over.
Exactly.
Before they enter the real World Cup camp, to just have a residential camp,
Absolutely.
get the boys knocked into shape,
They
and
also
just
plan
hit the
to
ground
play
running.
the Netherlands at the end of this month,
Yeah.
so that they can fine-tune some of their strategies and know where
Exactly.
exactly they're going to drop. Some interesting names on the Ghanaian list as well. Jeffrey Schlupp was actually a striker with Leicester City, but he has now been converted to a left back. And from everybody, what we've been hearing, that he's done magnificently well. Isaac Vossa, the big, powerful central defender with the bleach blonde dreadlocks, he didn't make that list.
No John Mensah,
The exact-
no
John
Richard
Men-
Kingston,
the-
that a lot of Ghanaians were clamoring for.
Exactly. You know, as it is in Nigeria, so it is in Ghana.
Yeah.
Because he said there's been plenty
So
of
it
debate.
is everywhere in the world.
So it is everywhere.
Yeah, well, I agree. But so they say there's been plenty of debate in the Ghanaian media about why someone like John Mensah was not called up. That his experience would have been invaluable. Richard Kingston too, his experience would have been invaluable as well. But by and large, they are somewhat happy with the squad, and they believe that it is the best that Ghana can put forward at this point in time.
Yeah. Well, the Italians, heroes 2016, zeros in 2010. What do we say?
Heroes 2006, you mean?
Well, the Euros 2006 and Zeros 2010.
Yeah.
Let's see whether in 2014 we are going to be
Bounce back.
He didn't
No,
even
bounce back
qualify
as
for their
the-
group.
Yeah,
They didn't even win a game
didn't win a
in
game.
2010.
exactly. They didn't even win a game in
Shocking.
2010. So
And they were champions 4 years before.
exactly, same thing happened as well in 1982 when they won the World Cup in Spain. In 1986,
Maybe that's why.
Mexico,
Maybe that's why the
like
coach
that.
has called the training camp early.
Exactly.
Because they have to really show
Exactly.
that they are amongst the best in the world.
So Italy, we know Italy is a very good team and all that, but then the preparation, they've got good players and history.
Mario.
Yeah.
Super Mario.
Everyone.
All
And history
eyes
will really
on
talk.
Super Mario.
History will really help them this time around. They were finalists in Euro 2012, and of course at the Confederations Cup last year, they gave a good account of themselves. Whether in 2014, let's see what's going to happen in 2014. However, this is what I'm looking at. I'm looking at the fact that you have an Italian team that is quite different from other Italian teams that you know of the past. Italian teams that are usually ultra defensive and all that, but right now, basically the game, what Prandelli is saying is that let's attack and at the same time defense. They're a very strong team, probably not one of the favorites, but they're a very strong team as well.
Let's talk about the Dutch. Losing finalist in 2010, fumbled in the Euros, had to bring in a new coach, Louis van Gaal, known for his discipline. But the man at the end of the World Cup is going to Manchester United.
Yeah.
Is that a distraction for the Dutch?
Well, you have to. It might be a sort of distraction because the players know that their coach is leaving and he has his mind set on something else. But if he can get them to focus on the task at hand, I think I think there shouldn't be any problems. But the Dutch already have a system where a coach is already the replacement of the coach are announced years ahead. When Luis Van Gaal leaves, he's supposed to be taken over by Guus Hiddink. So there shows plenty of continuity in that regard as well. So
the plans are already in place.
In place. So there's no dislocation. There's no there's no gap, as it were. There's no void to be filled. So the players already know what to expect from their coach. They did brilliantly in the qualifying series. Only Germany scored more goals than them in the qualifying series. They were among the first European teams, or even the first teams in the world.
Every qualifier, that's how they do it.
They're a particularly decent team. I think they scored 34 goals. One of the highest scoring teams in the world during the qualifying series.
But my issue is this. My issue is that they're dropping some very experienced players. Like, okay, apart from the fact that Gregory Van der Wel, who is a very notable absentee in the list, injured, did perfectly well for PSG in this
but
season.
he's injured.
Yeah, but he's injured, so he's out. But then there's a John Entiga, Martel, Schellenberg, who
Martin Stekelenburg, who came for Fulham. Did you see me?
Well, but
did he well for Fulham?
It was a goalkeeper 4 years ago.
He's a goalkeeper 4 years ago.
Has been
lots of
I think I cannot even get a game at Everton. And I think it was loaned to
he was actually loaned for Everton.
Yeah, it was also loaned to Fulham. He couldn't get it.
Exactly.
If we want to buy Cosmos's argument,
I'm talking about the experience.
then we also have to look at the Nigerian team to the 2010 World Cup and look at the likes of Yakubu, the likes of Itubu, the likes of Rabi Afolabi and everybody.
Okay, you're talking about that. What about Obi Emmanuelson of
the coach? I mean,
how many games did Obi
hold on.
Anita of Newcastle made a place than Obi Emmanuelson.
Okay, let's leave this argument for a while. We'll come back to it some other time. Let's talk about Brazil itself. The story today, not a pleasant one. The roof of one of the airports, Manaus, that everybody will be expecting would be able to serve during the World Cup is already showing signs of not being able to stand.
My problem with the Brazilians is
too much of a rush work.
You know, everything that they are facing now, they brought entirely upon themselves. They were announced as hosts unopposed, and that was part of the problem.
Almost 8 years ago.
And that is, some people argue that was part of the problem. If they had faced a competitive bidding process, that maybe they would have really been up for it. But the fact that it was given to them on a platter of gold made them like a dassica, they went to sleep. And the Brazilians, according to those who live in Brazil, like Tim Vickery will tell you, they are notoriously like a dassica for keeping things at the last moment. If you tell a Brazilian that you have a meeting is for 4 o'clock, if he shows up at 6:30, you are lucky. Is that bad? And you have an airport that is supposed to be that's supposed to be even dealing with the pressures of a lot of visitors. They're expecting over 500,000 visitors traipsing around the country as vast as it is. Infrastructure is not in place. Some of the stadiums are even where they are located. Getting there is even a problem. Some of the public utilities that they've already put up, they've not been tested. So everything that Brazil is facing now, they brought upon themselves. Hotels too. Also, it's a huge problem right now in Brazil.
All right, let's close this segment, gentlemen, and hope that things improve. They still have 23 days to work a miracle. I mean, if they could just borrow a few of the magic that we have here in Nigeria. Jack Warner came here a certain December and felt that Nigeria was never going to be ready to host the World Youth Championship in Nigeria 99. And he came back just a few days after. Everything was in place, and he said it was the 8th wonder of the world.
What about the 2019?
The Brazilians will need to come back here and find out how we make it work, and then we'll get them ready for the World Cup. Let's go.
They now brought 12. They didn't need as many.
Let's go on a break now. We spare the Brazilians. We'll come back to that later on. When we return from the break, Austin Okonakwan will be joining me. We'll be looking at Channel's National Kids Cup. What's the plan? What's going on? When is it starting? Which are the teams participating? What happened today at the unveil of the jerseys and everything? We'll talk about that and more when we return.